Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, and Smart podcast. Each week, we interview the best and brightest in physical therapy, wellness, and entrepreneurship. We give you cutting-edge information you need to live your best life, healthy, wealthy, and smart. The information in this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be used as personalized medical advice. And now, here's your host, Dr. Karen Litzy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, Dr. Jenna Kantor is back and she is interviewing Dr. Jeremy Sutton. Jeremy is a physical therapist and owner of the outpatient orthopedic clinic Vivian Physical Therapy in rural North Louisiana, where he treats people through a servant leader's mindset with the goals of returning them back to living life the way they enjoy. He is also the creator of the Servant PT podcast. The Servant PT podcast is about servant leadership in the medical field. There will be interviews with professionals from the medical, fitness, or sports fields that have been leading with a servant's heart. There will also be episodes with tips or steps to being a better servant leader. So a huge thanks to Jenna and Jeremy for sitting down for this interview during the SSPT Live conference a couple of months ago. And in this episode, they discuss why you should empower others, how much time does it take to invest in others, what Jeremy does to empower others one-on-one, and his favorite moments of empowerment. So thanks to Jeremy and Jenna for this great interview, and enjoy.
Hello, this is Jenna Kantor. I have the pleasure of speaking to Jeremy Sutton today on Healthy, Wealthy, and Smart. If you do not know Jeremy Sutton, he is such an inspirational physical therapist, and he is the host of the Servant PT podcast. Please go check that out when you get a chance, because he interviews some really incredible human beings on there, and it will just keep motivating you just in your life in general. So I really wanted to have you on here today. First of all, thank you. Thank you for being on this podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So I thought, because your mission is really to serve others, I figured that you would be the best person to speak about the value of empowering others. So first question, why? For those who are thinking, oh, this is a guy that wants to give. Like, what is he really the real deal? What's going on here? So why do you think it is important to empower others?
Well, first off, I'm a Christian, so that's my background, is to love everybody else, put other people before me. And so when we empower other people, we help them live out their purpose. So we all have a purpose in this life. I feel like a God-given purpose to do something.
Yeah.
I'm not an actress. I don't sing, I don't dance. Like you can, but I do have a servant's heart. And I want to serve others, and part of that service is by empowering them and say, hey, if you have a purpose in life, get out there and accomplish that purpose. Don't let anybody or anything stop you. It doesn't matter if you're from a small town or a big city or whatever it is. You have the right and you have the power within yourself to accomplish whatever goals you have.
Right. And we've actually talked about this, and I just want to point this out to anyone who may not be Christian. I did speak with you one-on-one. It really doesn't matter faith as well.
I have no problems empowering anybody.
Right.
That's just my personal faith. That's my story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love everybody, no matter where they are, what they do. And I just want to empower those people.
And you do. So how much time does it take to invest in others when this is your mission?
Sometimes it does take a lot of time, but other times it doesn't. I do a live Facebook video almost daily. Most of those videos are between 3 to 8 minutes long. I do those, in the mornings before I go to work, or I do them in the evenings. So it really doesn't take a lot of time to do it on that level.
Yeah.
Now, when I've done it, when I have students that come into my clinic, obviously that takes longer. When I invest into my family, that takes longer. But just to, we have a great tool with podcasts and Facebook Live and everything. And so you can really invest in people really easily these days. And, we're at a conference with 220, 250 people. My Facebook Live video yesterday got 221 likes, or 221 views, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we have the opportunity to invest in people really at a low entry level.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take as much time as people think it does.
Yeah. So I would like to actually go into more detail. So how do you empower others on a regular basis? You were saying the videos, but one-on-one, when you're really getting to really individualize.
Right. So one-on-one, my wife and I teach a class at our local church, and we get to interact with those couples. It's other married couples that are our age. And so from time to time when they're having issues, my wife and I will both sit down with them and talk those issues through. Just since we've been here in Tampa this weekend, I've sat down with 3 to 5 people and just spent maybe 5 minutes just kind of speaking to them about their specific goals, their specific struggles, what I would do in their situation, what I have done in those situations, and just really just trying to listen to people and meet them where they are and just kind of come alongside of them, even if it's just for, a 5-minute conversation by the pool or whatever, and just say, hey, this is what I think you should do. And if there's any other way I can help you out, send me a Facebook message, call me, whatever, and we'll get on a call.
I love that you do this because it's just so valuable I have a mentor myself. We have a similar mentor in common. But you are just extending and taking all these things that you received both in your personal life and also professional life, and you're just giving it to others. It's man, Jeremy, the world is lucky to have you. Lucky to have you.
I don't know about all that. I'm not sure if my wife would agree with you. No, I guess you would. So, but anyway, I just want to give. I wasn't always this way. I had a bad attitude. I had a bad temper early on in life.
Okay, that is hard to believe. Maybe your wife would be like, oh, she's nodding.
Yeah, So
the wife is in the room for anyone who's wondering. So we definitely have an audience in green.
Yeah, so I really did. I just had a bad attitude. I had a bad temper.
Yeah.
And really, when I changed, I said I want to live the rest of my life completely opposite. Now, do I still struggle with that from time to time? Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
But the majority of my life is meant for me to serve other people and for me to help lift other people up. And that's really what I feel like I was put here on this earth for. Yeah. And, I feel like that's going to take me further than anything I could do. So.
I think you pretty much talked about this, but I do want to actually ask you, how do you benefit from all this giving?
Oh, it's better to give than receive. It's that old adage. Like it really is. I mean, you get more out of investing in people than you do investing in yourself sometimes. Now, we're obviously at a professional conference. We're trying to better ourselves, self-help type things. But in the end, I usually get more out of doing something for somebody else.
Yeah. Because
you get to see how that affects their lives. You get to see what it means to people. I had somebody stop me. I don't even know what day it is. I had somebody stop me Friday night here and say, I watched one of your Facebook Live videos. I pulled over. I was having the worst day. I pulled over and cried. I got back on the road, and then I had an amazing day just by something you said.
Mm.
And, a lot of times we don't get to see the people we help, especially when we do podcasts.
Yeah.
This is my second interview as the guest, but I've done about 30 episodes now for my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And, we don't get to see the people that our podcast reaches.
Yeah.
And so when we get to see someone that a Facebook Live video reached, and they say, hey, that really made a difference. And then you see somebody else that says, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing. It just really means the world to me. And I've really been kind of brought to tears a couple of times this weekend for just people saying things. And it's hard to think about yourself in those kind of ways. And I hate taking compliments, but
it can be hard to take compliments.
Really hard.
Yeah, I get it.
But sometimes we just have to say, no, those are our gifts. That is our purpose. Okay. Yeah, I did. Okay. It's all right. It's all right to take a compliment.
Yes, it is. Very, very good words of wisdom. All right. For your last question, I would love to hear a story. So would you mind telling a truly significant incident where you substantially had a positive effect on someone through your mission?
Sure. This is not going to be the story you want, but that's the story I'm going to tell you. And I might tell you a second one.
Okay. We might get two. Ooh, like a bonus. It'll be a bonus.
This will be like a bonus story.
Yes.
So my son is 4 years old, and he's obviously not a physical therapist, not a businessman yet. But when he was born, I continually tell my wife that she's pretty in front of him, that I tell her she's beautiful, but in front of my kids I say, Mama's pretty. And I would continually say, Jack, tell Mama she's pretty. Jack, tell Mama she's pretty. Jack, tell Mama she's pretty. And I said this from the time he was born till today. I still tell him. And he constantly tells my wife she's pretty. And to me, that's the most important thing I can do. Like, I feel like I can reach way more people through my son than I could ever reach investing in anybody else, because he's my son. He sees how Dad acts in public. He sees how Dad acts on Facebook. He sees how Dad acts at home. And if I can convince him that this is the real deal, that I really am the servant PT,
then
then I can empower so many other people
through
my life and his life. So when I thought about that question, I really thought about it a lot, and that's the best story I could come up with.
That's a great story.
There's been others, but that's
that.
the most important.
All right, you kind of teased us with a bonus second story. So would you be willing to give? Sure. All right, so you guys, this is bonus. We're going to do a bonus story now.
Bonus story. So I have a young man right now. His name's Mason Shaw, and he just got accepted into physical therapy school at LSU in Shreveport,
wonderful.
Louisiana. So when I first took over my business, I didn't buy it. I went to work for the owner, and he was like, come in, work here, see if you like it. And so it's kind of like a work to buy type deal.
Yep.
And, rent to own type thing.
Yeah.
Like I did my music instrument when I was in 6th grade. So anyway, I think that's what they did. So,
I remember that.
But anyway, it was crazy. So I got a drumstick. But, I hired a young girl, and it just didn't work out. It was her first job, and really I should have known. It was my fault. I just hired the wrong person. Mm-hmm. And so Mason comes in. He said, "Hey, my dad's a friend of the previous owner. He said you might be looking for some help." And I said, "Sure." And I said, we talked for a little while, and I said, "You want to be a PT?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what's your GPA?" He's like 3.95. I was like, "Okay, you're hired." And so I hired Mason, and I just continued to invest in him in really just the simplest ways. Yeah. Hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, let's try it this way. Let's do this. And I feel like sometimes he invested in me as much because he's only like 20 years old, but he's just a wise 20-year-old.
Love it.
And so he worked for us for 3 summers in a row, and really just saved me one summer. Like the other lady I had, her father died suddenly of cancer. Mm-hmm. And we knew he had cancer, but we didn't know it was that bad. And so she just left, and understandably so. She had to take care of all that. But Mason came in, and I called him. I said, "I need you to come work." And he worked. And then the next summer I called, "I need you." So he just he always showed up for me. And so I always tried to pour into him as much as possible. And, to this day, we still have contact. And he just got in. He might have started PT school this week or next week. I'm not sure. But I really hope that eventually he'll come back and work with me and possibly even be a partner at one point, because he's just an amazing young man. And I just love to see how he's grown as a person, as an individual, as a physical therapist soon to be.
Yeah, as a professional.
And so we just encourage him all the time. My wife's encouraged him. I tell him I'm proud of him, just like he's, I don't call him my son, but I tell him I'm proud of him. I tell his mom and dad when I see him, I'm proud of him and how great a person he is. And, I've gotten to know his grandmother. And so we just really invest into him.
Yeah.
And then explain to the rest of the family why he's such a good person. And so not only am I investing in him personally, but I'm building him up to everyone else. And, it doesn't matter what you tell. If I tell you, Jen, I think you're a great person, but then I go out and I don't ever talk about you, or I tell her I don't really like her, or whatever it is, like, I'm not really helping you. I'm just being fake kind of to your face.
Right.
And so with Mason, I've really just tried to invest into him. And I haven't done it monetarily very much because we just haven't had a lot at times to invest, but just anything else I can do. Praise, I sat down and showed him how to do, write your thoughts out and branch out, on the paper, like a mind map.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, this is what you need to do for your interview. And, I told him how to go through a PT interview and, just encouraging him. So we just did all that kind of stuff.
That's amazing.
So that's really that's my second, he's kind of like my second son, but he's 20.
I love it. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and just sharing your passion. I really hope, ideally, that people listening in, somebody is inspired by Jeremy we are already in a very giving possession. We are already in a very giving profession as physical therapists. So to have someone like you come on this podcast and go above and beyond is truly beyond words.
Awesome.
And inspirational. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the podcast at podcast.healthywealthysmart.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media.